Fast and Furious. Oh my goodness. The Fast and Furious movies are some of the best and some of the worst movies to do it. It's also one of the most unique franchises I've ever seen because it actually starts on a movie that isn't too great and literally gets better as it goes along with each and every film. It's really weird. It hit a good point in the series halfway through. But since there's 10 movies, I decided I'm going to do top 3 because I don't want to rewatch them all to figure out which one goes where, because I already know my top 3 for Fast and Furious. Fate of the Furious. I'm going to tell you, this was actually a really tough decision. I had at least 3 more options that could have taken this film's place. I could have put #spoiler alert for what's not in the top 2. I could have put Fast and Furious 6. I could have put Tokyo Drift. I could have put F4. But no, I think Fate of the Furious deserves it because other films like Fast and Furious 6 ran so that Fate of the Furious could fly. Some of the crazy stuff in Fate of the Furious is what kind of stamps its place as a pretty enjoyable movie. I mean, being able to remote control cars, pretty sick. Running from a submarine and not running, I mean driving away from a submarine while it's going through the ice, even sicker. And then you got the music of the film Candy Paint, which sadly I don't remember it showing up in the film. But you got things like Candy Paint, Go Off, Good Life, and so many other songs, Horses. I can just keep going on. It's got an amazing soundtrack. But as is with most Fast and Furious movies, it's just a big, dumb, fun mess, which is the point of pretty much all of the movies. They're dumb and they're fun. Fate of the Furious is number 3. Let's move on to number 2. Furious 7. I feel like, to be completely honest, that Furious 7 would not be where it is if not for Paul Walker's death. Now, let me clarify that. The emotion of this movie is one of the reasons why it's so memorable, especially because of the song See You Again, which the music in these movies go hand in hand with them, So, See You Again would not hit as hard without Paul Walker's death. Now, R.I.P. Paul Walker. I truly hope you were a Christian because there's words of that. And so I'll see you one day, hopefully, Lord willing. But without Paul Walker's death, this movie would have been where Fate of the Furious is right now. Now, while I did say that Fate of the Furious was insane, I think this movie was the peak of insanity with what they could do in these movies. I mean, you had cars jumping from skyscraper to skyscraper. I couldn't believe that when I first saw it. You had cars literally stinking flying and jumping out of a plane. Like, what? It was an insane, wacky, and fun ride. But as Fate of the Furious was a more complete film, I feel like Furious 7 had moments where, because some of the scenes in the film were so intense, my brain just was like completely gone during the other scenes. I don't even remember them. I'm going to watch Furious 7 pretty soon again. But yeah, I've seen Fate of the Furious once, Furious 7 once. I remember Fate of the Furious more than I do Furious 7. But it's just getting that second place because of the skyscraper, because of the plane jump, and because of the ending with Paul Walker and Vin Diesel. Really sad ending, and that's really where it gets it for me. Before we get to number 1, I'm going to give 2 honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1, Fast and Furious 6. It totally deserves the honorable mention. As I said before, it ran so Furious 7 and Fate of the Furious could fly. It is a fun ride and definitely has one of the better plots of the franchise, but it was literally a hairpin, an inchworm short of Fate of the Furious. And I think the soundtrack is what got it in the end. Candy Paint, can't beat it. The other film, and I'm opening up a slight can of worms here, is Tokyo Drift, which what killed this film for me is the fact that the casting was weird. Like they hired like a 30-year-old to play a high schooler, and like everybody who was in high school was not actually in high school. And not like Netflix, no, older. Like you could easily, like in Netflix at least they try to make it look like they're in high school. In this movie they didn't even try. Like it was like, yeah, this is a high schooler even though it looks like a 29-year-old man. We're not even going to try to convince you that it's a high schooler. This is a high schooler, period. I did think that in hindsight, the movie's better because of its connections with future films. Han was a definite highlight. The car scenes were pretty cool. I just think that in terms of the actors, except for Han, they were less than okay. And I think that's where it really killed it. But let's not forget that Tokyo Drift song. Okay, goodbye. Numero uno. Fast 5. Oh my goodness. Literally, it wasn't even a debate for me. Fast 5 is a movie that I strictly believe you need to see before you die. It is enjoyable. And yes, while I wouldn't say it's dumb, there is a few parts of it that are dumb, like the beginning where they drive off into a river. That's dumb to me. But other than that, most of the movie actually makes more sense than usual. And I think that's one reason why I like it so much. It's one of those happy endings. Everybody gets what they want. Everybody lives like happily ever after. If the franchise ended here, I would die a happy man. Hobbs is like this great antagonist turned friend. Vin Diesel, like both of their presence on screen. When Vin and Dwayne Johnson show up together, like you can tell they're going to be clashing. And every time I see them together on screen, I'm like, oh, it's going down. When it comes down to it, it's just a very satisfying film. They're taking down a crime lord while being hunted by the government. The government does win at first, which is a little bit unpredictable. Like, they had all of their stuff together so well. And then just like Hobbs just pulls the rug from underneath them. And you're like, what? Plus, Dom and Hobbs's fist fight will go down as one of the best fist fights. It's so testosterone fueled. The whole movie is, the whole franchise is, but this one, oh, I felt it. I was like, yeah. I wanted to go punch the wall when watching this film. It was amazing. The ending is also driving us safe through the streets of Rio. They make it believable. That's the thing. Most of these films are so unbelievable. Like, you already know you're suspending your disbelief. But this one, you're like, could they actually do it? And you think about it, and then you hear it. They actually did do it. And my respect for the film just went up. It's a great film, an amazing one. Suggest you see it. Best of the franchise, period. And yeah, see you guys next time. Okay, editor's note. I just saw Fast and Furious 9 like 2 weeks after the original making of this video. It does not belong anywhere near the top three. There was no substance in it. It was even dumber than some of the movies. The level of dumbed down action was so it was just so stupid at times. There was moment after moment after moment that I was wondering, what are you kidding? I literally like was angry when watching it. So yeah, when I tell you that it's not that great, it's not that great. The only redeeming element of the movie, spoiler alert, was the relationship between Jacob and Dom, and it was honestly a little cliched, and I saw it coming a mile away. So yeah, it wasn't that great. Probably one of the worst Fast and Furious movies in years. Okay, editor out.